he's not just any veteran, he's my wife's 91-year-old grandfather. Bob Beamon flew dozens of missions for the Navy in the South Pacific during World War II. He is a decorated soldier. And so when I was given the opportunity to fly on a B-17 in Conroe, he was the first person I thought of.
It's just going to be a real experience. I really appreciate being able to go in one. I've never been in a B-17, but the planes we had flew were similar, about the same size aircraft.
Bob and I met with pilot Dan Bolin, who's been flying the Aluminum Overcast to places around the country for several years.
The aircraft we took out the first time in 1994. It tours 9 months out of the year going around the country and showing the public a piece of our aviation heritage and history.
Bolin says it's a great honor every time he gets to take a veteran up.
It's a great honor to talk to them and get their experiences because, you know, if it wasn't for guys like Bob, I wouldn't be here doing this. And we wouldn't have the freedoms we have today as pilots.
So after a quick briefing,
if you'll notice on the aircraft, we got 6 exits in this aircraft.
We were up and flying. While we were up there, I talked with Bob about what he was feeling.
I'm amazed at the compactness up here, you see. And the airplane I flew in, getting the nose compartment, we had to go in the bomb bay and go through a little door.
Tell me where you would be in relation to the plane if this would have...
I was in the back.
You were in the back?
Yeah. We had 2 turrets like that, and I had the back.
He says it's a very familiar feeling.
The engine noise and all that, it sounds familiar. I like to watch out and see those things turning.
A little less stressful though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you bet. And the takeoff was so easy. We sweated at takeoff.
Yeah.
So we were loaded to the gills.
And after 15 short minutes, we're back. Bob says it's definitely brought back some memories.
I could just feel the same hearing those engines run. To sit there and turning them up, warming them up. But it was the smoothest takeoff I've ever been at.
So what was the experience like for this veteran?
I'd say it was 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Break down and check.
Yes, sir. It was great. It was great.
News Radio 740 KTRH. Through your emotions, what were you thinking?
Well,
how do you think?
I could just feel the same hearing those engines run. To sit there and turning them up, warming them up. But it was the smoothest takeoff I've ever been at.
Yeah.
Ours was rough. But we were carrying a mighty load, you know, of 3,100 gallons of 100 octane fuel for one thing, and about 1,500 pounds of bomb.
Wow.
And 4,800 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition, and 12 men, all their survival gear, life rafts and emergency rations, water cans, and so forth.
Right.
So we were loaded down. It just took every bit of that runway to get off. And they wouldn't even think about getting airborne until they got to 110 knots. Now, knots is not a mile. Knots is more than a mile.
Right.
And we had a steel mat for a runway. And you hear that noise, and you sit there all pinched up, you know, waiting for that noise to quit. When the gear left the ground, well, you didn't hear a noise. Everybody just relaxed. It was airborne. And it took every bit of that runway, too. It should have been a little longer.
Well, I know. When was the last time you were on one of those planes like that?
1945.
1945. Was it everything you remembered?
Yeah, except everything inside is different from ours.
Right.
Entirely different. Fact of is, you had more room getting through that bomb bay. That's mighty close.
It was tight.
It sure was.
It was tight. It was hard to get through there.
Yeah, it's all got different interiors, and nothing interior was familiar with me, but the noise and the flight and all was real familiar, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I can remember them old engines turning up, getting ready for takeoff. We'd turn them up full power and sit there, and you'd go to the jerk and have the brakes on, and then turn them loose and go. So it was real familiar in that respect, but it was an easy takeoff, I'll tell you that.
And the landing wasn't too bad either, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was real good. But you didn't even realize the takeoff.
Yeah.
I couldn't see forward, so I was sitting right behind, facing back behind the co-pilot.
Right. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think?
See what?
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think about the
I'd say it was 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Sure, you bet. Yes, sir. It was great. It was great.
Very good.